This week in car audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. This week in car audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by the ever awesome movie star. Freaking right now, he's the 3X Judge God for the world, Jeffrey Fernandez. What's going on, Jeffrey?
Nothing much. How about you, Doug? How you doing?
Nothing much. I did really poor bowling this weekend, if that counts.
That's horrible.
It was, but I did have a 3X myself last weekend. I don't know who, if anybody set any records or anything like that. I'm going to share real quick. I do want to tell everybody what's it called? The event I got coming up April 8th with, what's her name's, Sean Kent and Janet Kent's show is going to be a 3X event, except for we're doing it all at 1X prices. So it's 1X trophies. It's not popping up, and I wonder what's going on here. I see them on here, but it's not popping up on the screen. Oh, I am. Let's see here. Ninja background, zoom. You? Nope. I'm trying to find out what's going on here. It's not showing my Ninja chat. Hold on. Anyway, so we're gonna make a 3X. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
go ahead while I'm figuring this out.
Okay, well, I was going to mention I did go to U.S.A.C.A World Finals this past weekend in Lawton, Oklahoma. It was pretty cool. It was a lot of cool stuff. Oh, Wayne and Sleece were there. We're all kind of hanging out. And, yeah. They were there, of course, supporting Term Pro, and a lot of the major organizations have Term Pro as their official SPL meter. But it was pretty fun. It was a 2-day event. Lots of carnage everywhere, believe it or not, like toasted coils, and they were doing they had this like side demo competition where they were using a wind meter. That was the first time I've ever seen that.
Okay.
Which was kind of cool. We were there. It was me, Wayne, and Celeste, because they hadn't seen it also. So I was like, let's go check it out. And so this guy, I guess, was running, and I guess it registered like 47 miles per hour.
Really?
I'm not sure if that's really loud, but I thought that was interesting. And Wayne was pretty interested. He was checking out the meter and was saying, how can I integrate it in Term Lab? So we might see it soon.
Rolls.
Exactly. We might see it soon. I don't know. He says he's got one that I think, how he does that storm chasing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think he said he's got one that's got more bells and whistles that he was kind of looking into. And so I don't know. Hopefully we might see something like that in DB Drag pretty soon. That'd be kind of cool.
Really? That's kind of interesting. Well, let's actually introduce our guest today. Our guest is Kyle Erni and Jonathan. I forgot his last name. Patrick. There it is. I'm looking at it right here in front of me. Jonathan Patrick. Anyway, and Kyle actually suggested Jonathan because we are doing the DIY type stuff, and was saying that he actually sells and makes stuff for DIY guys. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jonathan?
My name's John. I own Brand X Electrical in Ohio. We make high output alternators, and then we also sell like conversion kits where people can upgrade their stock alternators, rebuild their own stock alternators, rebuild their high output alternators, and then we also do a lot of like DIY lithium stuff. We sell a lot of balancers for lithium guys, wiring kits, stuff like that.
Okay. Let's see. What did Kyle send me? Jonathan says, not letting me click the live video feed. All right. It should now. But anyway, so yeah, people chiming in right now. Woody McDonald, Tiffany Whitaker Paris. She's from Bridgetown, Barbados. SQ Sounds, which is her husband, Tristan Barbados, chiming in. Rosa Espinoza. That's, the Moses Martinez lady friend, with the big old X's. If you know Moses, you know Moses. Well, like I said, Woody, we got somebody, Peter Guns 559 says, tune in. Cool. All right, there's all the people I've got chiming in on the chat so far. It also in our promo part, we were talking about you being a wiring snob. Why don't you go into that a little bit?
Like as far as like the wiring aspect of what people seem to have most issues with, or just the fact that I generally don't like
wiring snob?
Spaghetti is gross, and wiring organizers are your friend. Lugs are your friend. Heat shrink is your friend. And doing proper battery deletes and big 3 wiring upgrades is very important, if not one of the most important parts of wiring any 12-volt electrical system.
So
think about
audio, whatever.
You just think about all the money you spend on your equipment, and then you just do a terrible install. It's like, take some pride in what you do. It doesn't take much effort to clean things up and do it properly the first time, right?
Properly, I mean, clean is one thing. I mean, there's like the saying that like ugly is loud and nice and pretty is not loud. I mean, that's a real thing.
It is.
I mean,
why not?
Yeah, I mean, when you do a battery delete and you have like generation noise and stuff like that, if you do a battery delete properly, the way that we describe how to do it with our instructions and all that kind of stuff, you won't have those issues.
Rosa Espinoza says, can you tag your page on here, Mr. Wiring Snob?
Kyle can do it because I still can't get on the live feed there.
There's Moses Martinez posting in. Once again, so Team Send It is upgrading it to a 2X. Moses is going to upgrade it to a 3X, like I said, but we're going to keep the trophies and the price the same. We just want more people and potentially set up records at Sean and Janet Kent's wedding ceremony that we're going to have at the event. So you coming?
Someone's getting married at a show?
Drag event, yes, sir. April 8th.
Where's the? Oh, dude, I'll definitely buy them something. Post that they should message me their what is that called? The registry. Message me your registry. I'll buy you something off your registry.
Right there, Kyle Erni tagging in. So we're renewing their vows, actually. So they're not actually getting married.
Okay.
So at my shows at World Finals one year, do you know Marissa and Thomas O'Brien?
Yeah, I know Thomas. Yes.
Okay, so
I know both of them, but I know Thomas more than I know Marissa.
So
O'Brien Car Audio, yeah.
Ben Barnett says, "Buy me something."
I just spent a bunch of money with you, Ben. I don't need to spend any more money with you.
Hey, Moses saying, Jeffrey, he'll see you this weekend.
Yes.
We want to see Carnage too. Anyway, yeah. So Thomas and Marissa got engaged at World Finals at one of my events. At the same time that Gary Killian and Leslie Killian got engaged at World Finals. So it's kind of a thing we do out here on the West Coast. And they wanted to be part of that type tradition, and they asked me to officiate. So what we'll do is we'll do the qualifying, and then we'll break, when we go to do brackets, we're going to stop and we're going to do the ceremony.
That's cool.
Tristan out of Bridgetown says, I am a cable snob for sure. I hate to see those poor cable management setups.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on people that they take their alarm wires, stick it in a screw gun, and twist them before
The look on my face says all of that.
Well, just remember we are doing this as a podcast also, so this goes audio
wise.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yucky. How's that? Yucky. I don't know if I can swear, but I'll just say yucky. That'll work for that one.
You do whatever you do.
Okay.
I don't swear much on here. Jeffrey doesn't swear much, but the guests have sworn quite a bit on here.
I swear a lot, but I'll tone it down for you guys. I'll tone it down for you guys. Kyle knows how much I swear.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm a construction worker by trade, so.
Oh, you swear plenty then. Get the fuck out.
I don't play music with swear words at my events and stuff like that because I truly I know you have you ever been to any of my shows at all that I've been running?
Like not the one you ran, no. Slamology, yeah. I mean,
when I ran that one,
I couldn't tell you if it was or not, but I've been to Slamology every year since like 2014, so I would assume so.
So my intention when I put on a show is I want everybody to bring their kids. I think my number one customer, if they can bring their wife and their kids to my show because it's not offensive to them, then they can, their wife will allow them to keep going to the shows.
Yep.
And also, that's somebody that I want because it shows that they have a commitment to something. So if they can commit to bass and go into shows, dude, that's more power to us, and it's going to help our community grow. And it also shows that they have like to make commitments to people and can grow a fan base and have a good, solid friend group. So I really do focus on that atmosphere that I want to.
So if my 4-year-old rolled through one of your shows on his Power Wheel playing R&B by Young Dolph, that would be a no-go.
It would be allowed. It would be allowed. I just wouldn't do it.
I understand. I was just messing with you.
Yeah. So Janet Kent pops in here. She said the first bass wedding is April 8th. Gots to come out. It is not the first bass wedding because Gary Killian.
Somebody?
No, remember Gary Killian?
Oh,
had
he had
that
a show at his wedding.
Triple organization show at his house while he was doing his wedding. And we did it in satellite locations because we were here in California and somebody was in New Mexico. McCain was in New Mexico, and then they were up there and we were doing it also. Moses says he's heading out to Slamology this year, planning on driving out there again.
Nice.
Peter Gunn says, shout out to Doug. Had a great show at Jay's last Friday. Peter Flores. Okay. That was his first time competing, and he did a bunch of events, and he said he had an awesome time, which is the intent. When somebody comes to a show, I want them to have a great time. Moses brought him in, so yeah, appreciate that, Moses, bringing people, growing this car audio scene out there in Fresno. All right, so wiring's a big deal. Cable management, right? So you're going to run certain cables on the driver's side, certain cables on the passenger side, wire ties. Do you use zip ties on your cables?
No way, never.
And why do you not use zip ties?
They look hideous, and a lot of times what I've seen is people will over tighten their zip ties and actually puncture through the shielding on the cable, and you can have shorts that way, and that's sketchy.
Yeah. We talked about our shorts last week a little bit, or a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how when I first started in car audio, I took a screwdriver and shoved my wires, and this was a 76 Pontiac Catalina, so it's all metal, including the trim is metal. So I took a screwdriver and shoved my speaker wires underneath my door trim instead of unscrewing my door trim. Just shove it under with the screwdriver.
Yeah.
Weird. My whole car caught on fire. I don't know how that happened.
Not a good
wire
idea.
loom? what do you think about wire loom? Is that kind of in with the making it look pretty?
I mean, wire loom, tech flex, all that kind of stuff is all fine and dandy, but I mean, that's not my biggest thing is where people put wires. It's where they terminate them, like proper grounds. A lot of people think that like the trunk floor is an excellent ground. It's not. A lot of guys, even with cars with big frames, like a fully boxed frame, like a F-150 or like a Ford Expedition or a Tahoe, they'll wire everything to the frame under the hood, and then they'll wire it to like a shock tower in the truck itself. Like that's not like, I don't know if people know, but body mounts are generally made out of rubber, and that's
or urethane.
Yeah, something not metal.
No,
metal.
So anything that has severe impact, they make out of urethane for cars.
Yeah,
it's not rubber because rubber deteriorates really fast when you have that much movement. But urethane holds up.
I like that motion. Do that motion one more time for me. What? There you go. Yeah.
Tristan says, or you use Tessa table. I don't know
Tessa
what that's.
tape.
Oh,
Tessa
is that
tape.
Is that what it is? Tessa tape. What's
it's like
Tessa tape?
It's like anti-chafing tape. Best way that I can describe that. If you're gonna put something through like a metal panel or something, that's what like a lot of
instead
German
of a
cars.
grommet.
No, it's tape. But you ever worked on like
instead
a
of a
car
grommet,
before?
right?
Nah, it's tape. It looks like it's black like electrical tape generally, but it's
like
not
a felt.
rubbery.
It's got like a felt finish to it, like kind of fuzzy.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
it
so
kind of grabs, like if you put it through something metal, it'll kind of grab in place on that metal because it's like more of like a fabric than like a rubber.
Okay.
Or call it or urethane or whatever.
Yeah. Benjamin Ben Barnett says, ask him about amp inputs. So what do you have for us about amp inputs?
I hate amp inputs. I hate them with a passion.
Oh, you're talking about those big lugs where people put the wire into the lug and then they put the lug.
They'll do like a 4-aught wire to a 4-gauge terminal. Like like what purpose does that serve? Like it does nothing. Like you're talking about the gains that you would get are almost eliminated like moments after you have it hooked up, just from the fact that you just added one more connection point to fail. That's
so
ferrules. People should be using ferrules. Bring ferrules back. That's all that I'm trying to.
I would disagree with you there. So, but now
I got science to back it up.
I absolutely have. I have real world application to back it up. So back in the days, I had a 1500 watt ARC audio amplifier, and I ran as many as 8 runs of 1-aught from the battery to the amp, and then freaking condensed it down to nothing within 6 inches. 8 runs of positive, 8 runs of negative, and every time I added another run to that, I gained in SPL.
This was probably like the early 2000s, because that does not.
It would be late 90s.
Do that now, and everything's just much more efficient now.
Yeah,
that's
like I said. So my real world experience is from that time frame, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that still works.
Batteries were coming out and stuff like that, right?
I mean, my biggest thing is when you're running a 4-aught wire to a 1-aught input. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. If you're talking about condensing power runs to be shorter runs to the end termination of your actual amplifier, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you running a 4-aught wire from your battery that's 30 feet long, from your battery to your, not 30 feet's an exaggeration, obviously, but if it's more than a few feet, you're wasting wire. That's basically the gist of it. You gotta imagine you can run 400 amps through good 1-aught cable over the course of 18 feet and have minimal drop over 400 amps. That's generally less than 2 to 3/10 of a volt. For you to go to 2-aught to gain that 1/10 of a volt, not really desirable in my opinion. And then you generally lose it in that amp input that you just did. That if you're using a ferrule, you're kind of crushing all that wire into make it one big connection point. When you a lot of these companies make these 1-aught inputs and they put like this recess in it that basically makes where the screw and maybe 6 millimeters of that aluminum is actually touching your amp input. That's less than ideal than if you would just use a ferrule. That's what I'm getting involved with, not necessarily running a bunch of wire to a terminal block and the terminal block to the amp. You're still terminating only one wire to the amp itself, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
When you're running two terminals, when you're running two wires on a block the size of your fist, and then you're only going into it the size of Kyle's Winky, you know what I mean? There's no real point of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Janet chimed in again. Everyone is welcome on April 8th. Food and more. Meet me in the lanes. That's what she says. So that's good. I appreciate that we're doing that. But like I said, we're going to upgrade it to a 3X. That should be online tomorrow for you guys. Oh, before we get too far, I wanted to thank our sponsors once again, Puns Customs and Crossfire Car Audio, for sponsoring the show. Help take care of some of the cost for us for our minutiae stuff like like Zoom, and for all our little add-on stuff that we do, and be able to do this and pay for all our paid services so that we can get on the podcast and whatnot. So I do appreciate you guys. That's Puns Customs and Crossfire Car Audio are currently our two sponsors that we're using. Ben says you gotta love these 12-foot power runs.
That's Ben right there. 12-foot
Yeah.
power runs from the battery to the amps. That makes a lot of sense. Whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
No sense.
Yeah, we did alternators last week, so running the big three. So who did we have on last week? Jeff?
Sean DeHart.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sean DeHart.
John
And he actually showed us a couple of amps and the connections and where to connect and all that stuff. We're talking about grounds actually. And like I said last week, is your frame is a phenomenal ground, but you got to make sure you have a good strap from your engine block, because your engine block is the ground for your vehicle. So as long as you strap and you have a clean connection from metal to metal, they make these great braided wires that you can connect from your engine block to your frame. Like I said, as long as you have a good clean connection of bare metal to bare metal, and then you clear coat it or paint it or something on top of it so it doesn't corrode, that will help significantly in your grounding issues.
Say the engine block is the ground?
It ends up being the ground for all your vehicles, because that's where your battery grounds to.
You generally do a big three, though. You're giving current runs in a path of least resistance.
Right.
So, I mean, if you have a big three, your frame kind of becomes the power source, the ground. Your battery is the ground. Your battery is your power source.
Right.
Your alternator, you want to be grounded either directly to the battery, to the same central location, say your frame or something like that.
Right.
It's not like you ground your alternator to your engine. You know what I mean? You ground your alternator to the frame. You ground your battery to the frame. Your alternator is already mounted to the engine.
That's the ground for your alternator, right? That's the initial ground for the alternator, is that bolt that goes through.
If you do a big 3/8 properly, your alternator
That's
itself
correct.
should be grounded to the frame as well. So
That's right. But
Yeah.
any extra ground you can get, any extra connections you can make to make it better, it doesn't hurt.
Path of least resistance.
That's right. So if
Yeah.
that finds least resistance there, then that'll work. If it finds least resistance through your cabling, which if it done right, as you did state, if it's done right, then that will be it.
That's the most important thing, is to make sure you are doing it right, because
Yes.
a braided steel cable will literally turn into a glow plug. If you if that is your path of least resistance, Chop Gibbs is a great example of that. He's a guy out in North Carolina. When I first met him, he had a lot of wiring issues, and his big threes made zero sense. He had runs going to the back, and then runs going from the back to the frame up front, just crazy stuff. And his factory braided steel cable was glowing. If that's happening, then your big three, you might as well not have it. It's not doing anything. If that's getting hot at all, then realistically, if that has any current going through it at all after you do a big three, then you wasted your time doing a big three. That's
just your engine's power light,
Yeah.
So you know it's
sure.
working.
That's what it was in that situation. That was glowing. Like, the hole underneath the truck was black. The cable was a nice bright orange. That's not supposed to do that.
You mean it was a fusible link?
Yeah, every wire is a fusible link with the right amount of power.
100%.
That's just a fact.
Hey, and you got enough power, you can turn any wire into a welding machine.
Yes.
Just saying. I may have done that once or twice in my lifetime.
I've done that on purpose.
Oh no, absolutely on purpose. Absolutely
trail
on purpose.
Trail repairs using an alternator as a welder to fix my Jeep on the side of a trail. That's not recommended, but it does work.
Moses says, "Follow the bright light."
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys have there at Brand X, and what you guys specialize? Yeah, what do you guys specialize in specifically?
For this market, we specialize in high output alternators and lithium batteries.
Okay, so as in HO high output alternators?
High output alternators, yeah.
Okay, that the brand and what they actually do. Okay.
Yeah.
We've actually had him on the show, haven't we, Jeffrey? Was it high output that we had on?
So yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been
Yeah, so we had him on the show one time.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh,
I said high output alternators, like that's what we build is high output alternators.
Oh, you guys build them?
Yes.
Okay, no. We actually had the brand high output HO alternators.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of that person. But...
Oh, he's been doing it since 90s.
Okay.
You know, so he's been doing it a long time. It actually was a really good show. A lot of good information about the alternators and stuff. So you guys
are you talking about Tom at Ohio?
Oh, it's Ohio.
That sounds like Tom at Ohio Generators. Yeah, that's the only person that I know that's been doing it that long. Yeah.
You've also had Meckman on. You've had Singer on as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We try to get as many different brands on as we can, just so that people can see and talk and meet the people that are behind their products. Because, you know, ultimately, when you're buying a product, you're not buying the product itself. You're buying the people that build the product, because you're buying the confidence that they built it properly. You know, that's a big deal to me. I'm not going to buy a product that I don't have confidence in the people that build it. You know, especially something specialized like this. Yeah,
just so you know, John builds all of his alternators shirtless, so you get extra love with everyone you order.
I will live FaceTime Kyle for every alternator that he orders.
Yeah,
every single one.
It's true.
He's buck naked.
It's true.
He loves it.
There you go.
He pays extra for that.
Random calls at night. It's raunchy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should be the motto. That should be in the motto somewhere.
Business model. Shirtless on FaceTime for every alternator we build.
Yep, no problem.
Don't mind the chest hair falling into your alternator. It burns off eventually anyway.
That'll do what it needs to do.
It's a special seasoning.
Does it conduct though?
There's enough copper dust on my hair that it'll probably do that.
I think so. That's right.
So which alternators do you guys whatever somebody asks for, you can find a case, and because I know generally like the GM case is a nice big beefy case that
we build billets for a lot of stuff, so we'll machine you whatever you want.
Okay.
Like good example right here. This is one for. Can just pull one up for you. This is for a Toyota 1.5 liter. So, like this specific one, there's not an option for a higher output alternator, like over 160 amps using the factory cases. Mm-hmm. So we will just build you new cases that fit internals off of, say, a GM or something.
Got you.
And we'll give you a plug adapter so it plugs in and all that good stuff.
So do you guys have like an on-site water jet or something to
my father-in-law owns a machine shop relatively local to us, and then I'll do CAD designs and stuff. I'll do CAD drawings and stuff, and then like mostly SolidWorks. I say CAD just because that's what I learned on. But we use SolidWorks, and then we try to keep everything that I make. I try to keep it in audio, if that makes any sense. So there's a lot of machinists in audio that do a really good job. I will either send them a design or work with them on a design, and they'll manufacture it and we'll pay them. It kind of keeps the money in audio. That's more along the lines of what I try to stick with. Anything that I can keep in the hobby that pays my bills, I will do my best to do so.
Okay. So you guys do alternators, you do lithium. So DIY lithium. So we've had a couple of people on here talking about lithium and, you know, the dangers of it and kind of what to look for. Kyle came on one time. So what would you say to somebody that was trying to just start out and wanted to build a DIY lithium bank?
Read.
I promised I wouldn't say anything negative, so I won't. But there are certain pages that you should avoid, and all of them have this guy named Brad on them.
Yeah.
And if you, yeah,
His initials are BS for a reason, right?
yes, bullshit. Yeah, that is someone trying to sell you something, not someone trying to help you. A great resource for Yinlong. I think Yinlong only is a great one. Headway's another good option. The two easiest ones to work with are Headway and Yinlong cylindrical cells. Those
things
are the
that are
easiest ones to
modular,
work with.
things that bolt together, things that are modular, things that have existing busing in the market.
Yep.
You know,
yeah.
proven track record, good manufacturing history.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of great
5+
options
years
out there.
they've been in the market and relatively low failures outside of your few anomalies and
supply availability. These are the kind of things you want to look for, right?
Yep. You're going to look for something. You like a lot of guys will jump ship to the newest cell on the market, and then they don't last very long. Not that the cell doesn't last very long. It's just like the big one right now is the Skip 2.9s. Guys trying to build with those, that's fine, but don't expect them to be available in 5 years because they're kind of just, they're at end of run on that cell. And it's kind of like in 2-3 years after that supply, so they have 1 million cells. After that supply is gone, there's not going to be any more. It was like the protos, when the protos were real big, like 3-4 years ago. Everyone was really into those, and now they're all gone. And there's a lot of people with banks that can't make it any bigger or do anything. They just have to switch to a different technology or cell.
So one thing I've kind of noticed about cells, how they come in waves, it seems like almost they're built for a specific purpose. Either they get retired or rejected, or so the market gets flooded with this specific cell, and then once the supply runs up, then that's it. You can't get any more.
The reason why you see it is because it's been discontinued, right? So the 2.9s they're done. They're
the hobby where
you'll
the
see
last
knockoffs
people
made, like you see knockoff C-Max made, you see knockoff Yinlongs made, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for you to find the real cells, and then any cell that you get, I don't care what your friend on Alibaba told you, they are all B stock or C stock or negative defects.
100%.
So
stay away from those guys.
Yeah, it's not to stay away from Alibaba. It's a great resource. It's just if you don't have contacts overseas, it's a great way to actually make contacts and make reliable contacts. I'm not saying that nobody should ever go on Alibaba. I'm just saying that you should. It's like an eBay for businesses. It's basically the gist of it. It's like an eBay for overseas contact. That's basically, so they have some protections and stuff like that for you. But I mean, if you're dealing with anyone on Alibaba and they want to sell you Skip 2.9 amp hour cells, which is like the most popular thing that you're seeing right now about people talking about, you can get them for like $4 a cell. That's super cheap, crazy cheap. Nothing's ever been this cheap. There's a reason why. That's the only thing that I would say. I have a bunch of them here. They work great. I'm not the biggest fan of super high output cells with low reserve. The lowest reserve I would like to mess with is like 10 amp hour per cell. But yeah, I mean, C-Max has been an option for years now, and people still swear by that. So yeah, I mean, it's just plenty of options out there.
Anytime you're doing business overseas, like generally there's not a lot of people out there that are going to rip you off, but always trust but verify, right? So if someone's selling you a 45 amp hour Yinlong cell, for example, right? If you don't have a way of actually testing that cell and verifying that it's a true 45 amp hour, then you could be getting like a reject, 30, 35 amp hour cell, right? But the wrapper says one thing, but you not being able to test that and determine whether what you're buying is legitimate, then you really have no idea, right?
Yeah. And a lot of companies will just, even over here in the States, will rewrap them with something else. Again, not naming any companies or anything like that, but there are companies out there doing that.
That's common throughout the audio industry anyway, right?
That's common through any industry, really.
Yeah.
I mean, like we sell stuff for golf carts, people do the same thing. It's just,
So Fred Montoya chime in. Jonathan, the
Montana.
Montana, sorry. Jonathan, the Focus alternator is kicking ass, he says.
Hooray.
Moses Martinez says, do you guys make a 400 amp alternator for a 2012 Toyota FJ Cruiser?
I will if you want me to. We will make a billet for it if you want me to. Actually, I'm sending Kyle a large case prototype for his Toyota, and the mount is the same. So yeah, if that works out, then we'll actually have that available, and it won't be billet prices. It'll be sub $500 for that unit.
So so that gets me to the thing. So what is roughly the cost of a alternator? I mean, I know that it can vary
Some stuff-
greatly, but you know,
Our average, I could tell you our average sale price is $330. That's
okay.
what our average, every unit that we sell based off of.
Is that like
like,
a 250
let-
amp GM case type thing?
That's a little bit less than that, but yeah, I mean the most common thing that we sell is a 320 amp.
Okay.
That's pretty much the most common thing that we sell.
Yep.
And those for most applications are $395.
Calvin chiming in, Jeff's favorite guy here, says, "Hey, sorry I'm late. I was downloading the videos Jeff sent me. They were personal. Don't ask. He does a lot for $20, and that's all I'm saying."
What's your Venmo, dude?
Oh.
$20 is $20,
20
right,
bucks,
Jeff?
that's $20.
I thought that was you on Feet Finder, dude.
Let's go.
I was
Kyle
wearing a
getting a
mask.
little showing his sides here right now. Tristan,
Calvin needs a big alternator. That's what he needs.
Does he?
He's got a. I think he's got a Armada, a Nissan Armada. That's
Yeah, it's, you guys know who Dan Curran is?
yeah,
yeah.
Dan's been on here a few times.
Yeah, Dan's got we make up to 540 amps for an Armada.
Oh, dang. For a single alternator, right? So now you don't have to run two to. I mean, doesn't hurt to run a second one. Just saying.
The 540 is, we make 500 and 540 amp alternators. We don't recommend them for daily use, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
That's a lot of heat in one package. If you ever had an issue where your batteries were low and you fired your truck up, it's not as simple as let me just go for a cruise and bring those batteries back up. The chances of you thermaling the stud and thermaling the rectifier are really good then.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
more of pulling on a trailer, take it off a trailer kind of guy.
Okay. So Tristan asks, so what about battery lugs?
What do you mean?
Do you
What kind
make
of lugs
battery
do you use?
lugs? Do you suggest
We sell
one?
lugs, yeah, but I mean, anybody can go get lugs on Windy Nation, man. They're good quality copper tinned lugs for not a ton of money.
Okay. So do you guys specialize to the DIY guy, or do you sell to shops? What's your where do you guys
All of it.
fit? All
Literally
of it?
anything. Yeah.
So I can answer that, right? I've traditionally been a DIY guy, but I mean, John has provided lots of help and feedback and product and everything over the years, right? So
You just
know.
passed what 160 alternators recently. I realized that
I think that's order number. I think quantity was closer to
quantities
300.
over 250.
Yeah,
Dang, that's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
lot of alts.
Calvin,
We've sold 30,000 units in 4 years between Amazon, eBay fulfillment. We don't just do the audio stuff. Like we do racing.
right.
We do
Boats.
racing's actually getting bigger and bigger. The F body community is like jumped all over us. There's a couple of guys that have greatly helped us out in that market. But yeah, I mean, we do locomotives, we do boats, we do.
Machinery.
I'm one of the few certified to I wouldn't really call it certified, but I can. If you have an aircraft, I can rebuild your alternator in your aircraft too. That's more along it's more complicated than calling it certified, but yeah, you have to send each one of those units out for the certification process after you've rebuilt it. And I have
anything you put into an aircraft has to have that certification. So,
Yep.
Yeah, Calvin puts in here, F and Dan, tell him to give me his dual bracket.
He's working on it. Dan Blue Ghost is actually going to be making that and producing that.
Okay, so you sell the dual alt brackets also?
We sell ones that no one else will make. But
Like
otherwise,
Ram.
I generally recommend people go to Blue Ghost. Dan's a really good dude. And again, someone who's in the community, if I can help support him and keep his income coming, I'm going to do that.
So what about
So
balancers then for him?
I'm sorry.
I stock Blue Ghost brackets, by the way,
Okay.
in stock.
And you're out of Sacramento. For people that don't know Kyle, he's out of
Right.
Sacramento, and it's Ernie Audio Incorporated. Is that
Ernie Audio and Electrical.
Oh, Ernie Audio and
Electrical.
Electrical. I knew it was
Yes.
EA something.
Yep.
So, yeah, Ernie Audio Electrical. Yeah. So, what about balancers for the
We
lithium?
sell LTO balancers for $25.
Oh.
They're for like yin long. It just there's a lot of companies out there scalping on that kind of stuff and charging $100+ for just a little board that
Yep.
just kind of trickles down. All it does is really just causes a little draw to bring them all back together. We sell something really similar for $25, and it already comes with a wiring harness and terminal ends already on it. Yeah, we're probably going to be starting making one for a headway soon, just because we're seeing that come back a lot. I won't make anything for NMC or CMAX or something like that, though. The voltages are just too wonky.
Okay. Do they come
far
with like voltmeters on them and all that stuff so that you can...
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
generally you don't. You should have a voltmeter where you can see it. That's
Okay.
the balancer isn't something you should really see, in my opinion. Like that's
Balancers should be
something that
set
should
and
be
forget.
inside somewhere.
Okay. One thing I did learn about lithium is there's a requirement when you put them together is you have to pack them. They have to be tightly held together because if you have them loose, then you have issues with them.
That's dependent on the battery.
Oh,
like,
is it?
CMAX is the most popular one that you'll hear that you have to do compression on.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are just out of, I don't know how familiar you are with them, but those are basically just out of a Ford. They're out of a Ford C-Max or a Ford Fusion Hybrid. They'll basically repurpose like that 96-volt bank or 192-volt bank. They'll repurpose it into like a 4S configuration and like around the 14-volt range.
Okay. And what's a 4S configuration?
4 series parallel circuits.
Oh, okay. Series parallel 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 4 series circuits, 4S, 4 series.
Okay.
And then your parallel circuits will be what builds your reserve up. So say you have a 5 amp hour cell and you do 4S2P, now it's a 10 amp hour, 20 amp hour, you know what I mean? You're building it up from there.
Yep. So let's see, we're about 40 minutes in. We got about another 15 minutes left. So with your business here, so how long have you been doing this, your company there?
My company I've had for 4 years. I've been building rotating electrical since I was like 8 years old.
You were one of those kids that would tear apart a lamp just to see how it works?
No. My dad did the same thing for locomotives mostly.
Oh, okay.
That he did that for a living for a long time. He still does it for a living now. Not for me, but for a much bigger company. And then I worked for another company previously that we don't need to get into.
Yeah.
That I worked there for a few years as well, and kind of honed it a little bit as far as the high output side goes, and started my own thing again 4 years ago.
Awesome. And so you're on the East Coast. You got funny time zones, like it's already like 9 o'clock there and stuff.
We're good. I'm gonna get back to work when we're done, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you know what? I will say above everything else, the people we have on here that are successful, Jonathan Price, Scott Owens, Jacob Fuller, every one of those guys, they just because they come on the podcast, they're always like, yeah, as soon as we're done here, I got to go back to work. We find that people that work hard do well in life. And if you find something you love and you work hard at it, you can make a reasonable living at it. And I tell that to young kids all the time when I see them, if you find something you love and you put a lot of work into it, you can make a living doing just about anything that you can imagine.
Yep.
For you guys that don't know, Jonathan John has a little man crush on Kyle and was talking about that he was looking kind of sexy before the show.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was.
Good.
He said he's looking hella good. So why don't you tell us about what you been doing lately, Kyle, with that?
I don't know if you could tell over Zoom, but I've lost a little bit of weight recently.
How much is that little bit of weight?
50 pounds.
50 pounds.
50
That's
pounds,
excellent.
You lost my whole left nut.
I
That's
can almost
incredible.
I can almost touch my toes now. Almost.
Okay. Yeah, no, that is great. You know, I've shared on here. My wife, I believe my wife is now at the lowest weight she's been since she was in 7th or 8th grade. So,
Wow.
Incredible.
my wife is doing a very similar journey. I lost 60 pounds a couple of years ago myself. Just ended up getting on Biggest Loser, and my knees constantly hurt. So I was like, you know, maybe I should lose some weight, and did the same thing, right? And once again, you know, anything somebody puts their mind to, if that's their focus, they're going to be successful at it. Whether it be losing weight, running a stereo shop, running your own business, making high output alternators, acting like Mr. Jeffrey up there. Uh, you know, so like I said, I want everybody to know, hey, Kyle, congratulations, you're doing a
Yeah,
great
thank
job.
you.
Was it
Yeah,
a specific
congrats
reason?
as well.
Was it a specific reason, Kyle, or just overall feel healthy, or
So oddly enough, my weight and stuff, you'd expect me to have some sort of like, hypertension, pre-diabetic, none of that. But it scared me to think like, well, how much longer do I have before that comes to fruition, right? So
You're a young
it's time
man.
time to make a change, right?
How
So
old are you now, Kyle?
32.
You're a baby still.
I
And
just
I'm
turned
gonna be
50.
34 in this month.
32, but I look and feel like fucking 45. So,
Oh man, you're looking good to me right now.
oh, ooh.
So how ancient am I though at 50? So
You look about 36, Doug. You look pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh, you look younger than I do. You got that going
Yeah.
for you.
well, I am 50. I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago. So
Happy
Man,
birthday.
happy
Belated, but
birthday,
happy
man.
birthday.
that way I can beat up on the old men in the bowling alleys. So because that's a senior bowler
yeah,
at 50 years
senior
old.
now.
That's
Is
right.
it?
Son. Yep. I even
Yeah.
got my AARP card last week.
All right, so I think everyone wants to know, Doug, what ounce is your bowling ball?
They don't come in ounces; they come in pounds.
Or pounds? How many
Yeah.
pounds?
So I use a
15.
I use a 15 all day long.
Anybody that's
15.
good bowls a 15.
I used to throw 16, but it goes through the pins too hard, so I had to cut down to 15 to help get some deflection. And I'm actually considering cutting down to a 14 to get more deflection because my ball just goes through the. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about bowling, but the thing about bowling is it's about angle and rotation and speed. And I have a significant amount of speed. I have a ton of rotation, and I got a lot of angle. So when you add those things up, your power number goes quite a bit up. If you ever, I don't know how much you guys are into physics, but angle, rotation, and speed E equals MC squared, right? So there's my speed. My mass is the 15 pounds, and then my angle of rotation is another vector that you use in physics. So because I have a huge amount of angle and my speed and the weight, I leave some funky leaves because I rip through the pins pretty hard. So considering dropping down to 14 just for that reason, and there's been a couple of pros this year that are doing it. So
Nice.
definitely considering it, but then I have to buy 12 new bowling balls just for my daily usage.
Jeez, 12.
Well, I make plenty of money off of bowling. That my bowling balls really don't cost me anything. That's other people's money I'm buying them with.
Oh, there you go.
So, but another thing we got going on, which Brand X might want to get involved with. I don't know, but we are trying to put together a satellite version of Top Dog. Are you familiar with Top Dog and Base Race?
Nope.
Okay, so in DB Drag, we have Top Dog and Base Race. It's how well you can control your system. The object of the competition is to hit 9.9 without going over, whether it's 129, 39, 49, 59. It doesn't matter. The whole object is to hit 9.9 without going over. So we're looking to do it in 3 to 4 venues all at the same time on the same day, and we're trying to build up the prize fund so that hopefully we can pay out to the winner like $1,500 for winning that in multiple locations.
I got 100 on it. Message me your PayPal. I'll put 100 on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but we're waiting for Wayne. He's actually working on the program. He didn't this weekend because he was hanging out with Jeff in Kansas or Oklahoma or something. Jeff?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But he did mention, yeah, he's got some really good information going to be coming out soon. I won't,
Yep.
reveal them on the show, but yeah. So
Do it. Leak it.
well, you heard it here first, right?
That's right.
But,
That's
you
how
know,
you get the views, bud.
It's something that Doug had alluded to
Yep.
last week's show.
It's World Finals related, along with other things to do with competitions in multiple locations. So we have a lot of stuff that we're trying to increase and make better with the car audio scene as a whole. So, that stuff is really cool. I mean, Jeffrey and I have done multiple locations, probably 4 or 5 times at least, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Plus the World Finals. I mean, that's just between the two of us doing it. SoCal versus NorCal. And I know Texas wants to get in on trying to beat up on our NorCal our base racers, and then obviously the Tennessee base racers,
Tennessee guys.
their thing. So, as a matter of fact, the first remote competition that was ever done was between Thomas O'Brien, and he was out here in Sacramento at Autorama, which is actually coming up here the end of April. Make sure you're available for it, Kyle.
It's a good show. I'll be there.
It's an awesome show. So
a lot of history.
Yeah, tons of history. I've done it. This will be my 21st year running an Autorama event. So Autorama is totally awesome. They stick us right at the front gate, and they gate over 30,000 people in the weekend. And
is it bigger than Slam?
In gate, it is, I believe. Car audio wise, I don't think so.
Oh, right.
But gate, it was. Yeah. So, but I mean, they gate 30,000 people that pay $10 to park and $20 to walk through the gate. Yeah. It's a big deal. And we don't have any issues with demoing or nothing. And people, we always have a crowd of 300+ people at any given time just sitting there watching.
And you get to park in the venue, and with the class, parking's included. So that's a big plus.
Right. As long as you're there before 10.
Yep.
Otherwise, they charge you to get through the gate to get to the competition.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so that's coming up pretty soon, and that's a 5X weekend for you guys that are trying to get points, right? 2X on Saturday, 3X on Sunday. And then we obviously have the people coming down from Canada for that event. So that's going to be cool. So do you participate in the car audio competition at all, John?
Mecca used to a lot.
Okay.
And then ISPL, when that was a thing, not really as big anymore. And then NSPL, they had like a C-class class or C-pillar class. I think I still have a couple records in that one. Okay. And then I did TV drag back in the day. I got a couple trophies over here. I don't know if you can see them or not. They're over there. Couple over there. But yeah. But that was before I started my own company. It's at the point now where I kind of feel like I have a little bit of an advantage per se, that I can have certain things not necessarily funded, but there's certain things that a lot of people have to pay a lot of money for that I don't have to pay anything for. So It's just kind of, I feel like it's kind of not cheating, but that and out here, I mean, I'm in the Midwest. I got to compete with guys like RP and Beach, and that ain't happening. So their brains are much bigger than mine. So at least when it comes to all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Lately, I've just been doing demo builds. I generally do a build or two a year. Right now, I'm doing my for myself. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm doing my Suburban. We're doing 1212s and a C-pillar on around 40,000 watts.
So have you seen the Cyclone classes? That's absolutely weird towards the demo builds.
It's just I don't see Mecca is a little bigger in Ohio.
Okay.
I haven't seen. Well, who's your guys' judge out here?
Ohio,
Would it be Wyatt?
It'd probably be Wyatt. I mean, it'd be him or Andy would be the two closest. and Andy's not very close. So he's out of Wyatt's out of Wisconsin.
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean that's probably your
That's
closest judge.
10 hours. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
10 hours. So yeah,
Well,
that's not.
hey, I'll tell you right now that would not deter him.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly stick to like a lot of local shows and stuff like that, and I
Cool.
go to a couple big shows a year. Like I go to Slamology. I usually go to TDH, but that was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Is that Triple Fest or no?
No,
I think it was
TDH is Team Deadly Hurt.
Virginia,
It's
I
a
think,
team
Oh,
right?
show
okay.
in Virginia,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple North Carolina shows that I generally go to. Sundown, like all these shows end up being on, like Sundown is always on my wedding anniversary weekend, and my wife's gone to it a couple times, and she'd rather do other things, like go to Boca or something, not that. So
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah, I mean,
18 years of Autorama was on Valentine's Day. So
that's a rough one. That's
yeah.
a rough one.
So
yeah.
but I've been with my wife for 30 years and she understands. So
Yeah, my wife understands, but
Doesn't like it.
levels of understanding.
Yes.
Levels of understanding. I mean, she works here too, so I mean, she gets it. I mean, she goes to shows with me. She helps set up booths and stuff like that. It's at the point now where I still enjoy audio as a hobby, so I go to shows more so to have fun
As
and
a
support
spectator
customers.
and yep.
Support.
I mean, I bring my vehicle and I demo,
Okay.
but I don't really bring product to sell more so that shows anymore. I just kind of I'll bring parts. Like I offer every company, regardless of who you bought an alternator from, I'll fix your alternator under our lifetime warranty.
Okay.
So like last year at Slam, we fixed 42 alternators and only 3 of them were brand X. So we fixed any company that was out there's product for our parts cost. I don't know anybody else doing that. I mean, we try to support the community because it supports literally my livelihood. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'm about that.
All right, Jeffrey, you want to hit him with the question?
Sure. So John, this is basically a question that we ask all of our guests. Basically, we want to know what your definition of a bass head is.
Okay, I'll give you my real definition, and then I'll give you the generic answer. My real definition of a bass head is someone that will go to almost any length, eating ramen, doing whatever you have to do to be able to afford that small upgrade you're looking for. But realistically, a broad term would be anybody that has 212s and just enjoys a little bit of bass going on in whatever they're in. Whether it be their house or, I mean, there's bass heads with home stereos that cost 10 times what our cars builds do. Yeah. I mean, they're bass heads. I mean, but my opinion is the good middle-class guy working to do what they can to not get divorced and still have a audio system. That's generally that's my consensus of what a bass head is. I mean, I remember before I started my company when I was working, I mean, I was making 19 an hour, scraping together whatever I could to pay my mortgage and still be able to, I'd buy one sub every month. You know what I mean? Like just working towards building that system. That's a real bass head in my opinion.
Awesome. Kyle, anything change with your version of a bass head?
Just thinking about it a little bit more.
Anybody that shops at Erni Audio,
right? just
they're the true bass heads.
Think about this, right? Anyone who buys a car and the first thing they do is put a sub in it, you might be a bass head, right?
Yeah.
I know people will rent cars and put systems in them, and
done that.
That's a real bass head activities right there. So if you love bass in general, you're a bass head. Doesn't matter where you get it from the house, from the car.
Team Sended Chivo flew out to World Finals, borrowed somebody's car, and bass raced at World Finals.
Yep. And that's bass head love,
Yeah.
Yes.
Lending out builds and supporting each other. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, sir.
You guys do the joint World Finals with Mecca and stuff like that, or?
I think we have in the past.
Yeah. We didn't last year, and I'm not sure it's going to happen this year. I think they have it on a different day than us.
Okay.
Tristan from Barbados says, Jonathan and Kyle, tonight was awesome with great information. Thanks.
Thank you, Tristan.
So how do they get a hold of you, John?
Just facebook.com/brandxelectrical, our website, brandxelectrical.net, or you can call us at a number that I don't even know off the top of my head.
So Brand X Car Audio, Google search, and it'll come up a number for you, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
What's
Okay.
the next big show that you're going to be? I
Yeah.
don't know, putting a booth in or.
Slamology, I'm going to be the Suburban was supposed to be done in time for TDH, but it'll be done in time for Slamology, and that'll be the next big show that I go to. I spent
Which
most
is in
of the
June,
weekend.
right? Early June.
Yep. Yeah. TDH this past weekend, I instead of going to the show, I worked on a lot of orders, and then I got my subs loaded and a few other things. So yeah, I'll have that done and playing shortly, and we'll be unveiling our water cooled alternators at Slamology.
Okay.
On that vehicle.
Do they cool through your regular cooling system, or do you add
Isolated
a
cooling
reservoir?
system.
Isolated. Okay,
Isolated cooling
that's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle, where are they gonna see you? How do they get a hold of you for information stuff?
Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Erni Audio. Reachable anytime. Have multiple accounts. Rico Ernesto being the most popular. So just reach out.
You catch another van?
No.
Oh man, I was about to say, you gotta stay off that stuff.
I've been a good boy, man. No, but Facebook, really, that's the best way to get a hold of me. Either my personal account or on the business page. Reach out anytime you have any questions. Want to talk electrical? Want to talk system goals? I mean, I'm always open to just talking.
All right, Jeffrey, what you got coming up?
This Saturday.
Yep.
Flying back to Cali, I'm going to be doing a Gorilla Hertz event. Saturday, April 1st. Just to let you guys know, it's not an April Fool's joke. It's a legit show. It's going to be a triple point event in Bloomington, California. Basically SoCal. It's going to be the Gorilla Hertz guys, April Fool's Base Off. Again, it's a triple point DB drag racing event, co-sponsored by Team Aftershock, Team Mexico, as well as the Team Space for Base, aka Moses Martinez and friends. It's going to be trophies first through third. There's going to be a cash prize for the 129.9 class of base race.
Is it Rogers money?
No, it won't be Rogers money. No. And there's actually this last event that I ran for Gorilla Hertz. They created this traveling belt. It's a championship belt that the winner of the 29.9 class has to. It's a traveling trophy. So at these events, they have to defend it.
Yep.
They have to bring it back, defend it, and win some money. Robert Gallegos tells me, to push the tacos. They're gonna have tacos there. So come out for a day of tacos and demos. You can't go wrong. That's
how much did you say the prize was? You said it was $150.
No, it's actually it's a pool, and there's going to be some money that people put in for the winner, which is usually the Gorilla Hertz guys, because they say everybody could do one. Everybody could do one. 129.9. The hardest part.
Kyle can't do 129.9. What are you talking about?
Oh, we could do 59s, I'm sure. But
what are your guys' generally? How much do you guys generally raise during that? I'm asking for a reason, so give me a real answer.
It's tough to say. It's anywhere from I think last time they went, it was like $20 per competitor that they would put in addition to the registration, and there would be like an upwards of maybe 8-10 competitors. So you're looking at what, $160? Yeah.
All right. Well, send me your PayPal and I'll put in 150 for it.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Awesome.
You guys,
Moses.
those of you guys watching, we got Jonathan here, Brand X alternators kicking in. Well, how much was it?
150.
$150 to the winner.
Yeah. So, okay, and for me, we got the 3X coming up in NorCal, April 8th. That'll be the following Saturday night, and we will be up at Nyman Shop. We'll be doing a 3X at 1X prices with 1X trophies just to keep the cost down for everybody. But we're there to celebrate the renewal of vows for Jonathan and Sean Kent. And we, like I said, they want to be renew their vows in front of their basehead families. So we're gonna do that. Same thing with always. Come out, have fun, demo. We don't have any restrictions, and so, like I said, just come out, have fun. That's good. Remember, we got to work towards Autorama. Let's get as many people as we can out to Autorama. Let's grow it back to where it was. Just a few years ago, we had what do we have? 132 entries, like 4 years ago at Autorama, before some issues happened, but we got those fixed now. So let's get that back up to 142 entries, and let's do Autorama like it used to. You're never ever going to get the opportunity to demonstrate your vehicles and your passion in front of 30,000 people that have to walk by you. That is so unique at Autorama, and these people pay to come in and to check you guys out. So keep that in mind. I don't know what this means. It says Diamond Shop, where at? I don't know what that's about. Is that?
It means Nyman Shop.
Oh, Nyman.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nyman Shop. That is South Sac.
47th Ave, 47th and MLK,
Yep,
right there.
47th
It's called Mello's Automotive.
Yeah, Mello's Auto Repair. You can
Yeah,
go
because
on
you just booked like 50 shows at his shop, right? This season?
No, I only booked 4.
Booked 4?
Yeah.
Still, that's a lot. Is that why they're asking? Someone is asking about Nyman Shop?
Somebody, Chad Rizla asked.
Oh,
where
okay.
it's at. So, all right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go and try and take some old people's money at the bowling alley again tonight. I went and practiced today, and if I bowl even half as good as I was practicing today, those old folks are in big trouble. So, which is a good thing for me.
What's your average on competition oil?
Depends how much money you got.
You gotta give a real handicap.
I get handicapped.
So you're just not gonna give a number.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I will say I bowled 3 PBA events in less than a year, and I cashed in 2 of the 3.
It's cool.
So I'm okay.
You should talk to Bobby Wright in North Carolina. He travels all over the country. He owns an audio shop in North Carolina.
Oh,
and he's really good.
You know Alan Riley?
Potentially.
So he's an old school guy from Texas. He actually runs bowling competitions, and he bowls with like PBA Hall of Famers all the time. He bowls with Walter Ray and Chris Barnes, and Stu Williams. He bowls with them on the daily, and he runs a lot of the big bowling events in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, Alan's a base head. Yeah,
he's a big-time base head.
Big time base head. Him and his brother, right?
Yep. So, but anyway, and then also we got Tennessee Base Racers. His son was going to college for bowling. So
what for bowling?
Bowling scholarship?
Yeah, on scholarship.
Oh,
that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
So they were just in Vegas a couple weeks ago bowling a college event. So yeah, there's a lot of bowlers. David Moore, he was big into bowling back in the day.
Oh, he was? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when he was in
PSI.
Vegas. Yep,
PSI?
PSI Dave. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I said, anybody in the car audio world want to come bowl me? Bring your paycheck, and just saying, we'll have fun. At least I will. So.
I could promise I'll get hammered. That's all I could promise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna go work on some old folk, and I'm after me some Social Security checks tonight, and hopefully I get a couple. That's the goal. But once again, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you guys, Kyle Erni and Jonathan. I have it right in front of me. Patrick. Yes. Patrick. John Patrick with Brand X Audio doing his thing. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about your stuff. Had a great time with you guys. Once again, you can check us out next week at 5:30 p.m. California time, the only time that matters. And we will see you then. Peace. We out. Have a good night.
Here we go.